Hello, class. Welcome to week 2 of Jesus' Mission and Ministry to Beatitudes. So we're going to look at Jesus' teaching now. And he certainly was a moral teacher. He teaches a lot of things. And Matthew chapter 5 that you'll be reading is a good summary of some core teachings. But there was a time when people thought that's mostly what Jesus was. At the beginning of the 19th century, there was a whole movement that wanted to look at Jesus as just another moral teacher, along with many. Forget all this God talk and miracles and things in a rational age that has no place, but look at his moral teachings. They're really revolutionary. And even Mahatma Gandhi was a big fan of Jesus as a moral teacher. So he's got a lot to say. It's not, though, that we can really understand all of it. We can understand it. It's challenging, not impossible, but difficult. But it's also very profound, very deep. You can keep thinking and thinking through it, and you'll understand it differently. So rather than explaining his teachings, what I want to do in this short video at the beginning is give you some other ways to think about some teachings that you've heard before. This is not the way to understand these. This is an alternative version, just to show you other alternatives. So we're going to start in Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to go to near the end. It says, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you." Now, as you can see, that'd be a challenging way to live, especially downtown Chicago. Lots of beggars, you know. But there's more to it than this. And I'm going to give you a little background that brings that out. So, of course, you heard it was said. Other people say, don't escalate, just exact the right amount of revenge, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But I say, don't resist at all. So if someone strikes you on the right cheek, if they do that, they're giving you a backhand. And if they do that, what should you do? Turn and offer them the left. Say, no, come full at me. You're going to hit me. I'm not going to stop you. Don't stop with the backhand. Hit me full on. The other ones work the same as well. You can take my coat, take my garment as well. So I'll be standing here in nothing but my underclothes. So that's what you want to do. I won't stop you. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, Roman soldiers were allowed to force anyone to carry their things for 1 mile. All right, if he asks you, take it the 2nd mile. What is that all about? It's, in a way, killing them with kindness. So to say, you hitting me, I'm not governed by that. Do your worst. I still won't fight back. And then the go 1 mile with you. You think you're forcing me to walk with you? I give it to you 2 times over. Right, and then the garment thing. Are you taking this from me? I'll give you everything I have, and I'll stand here naked. Is that what you want? So these are strange, difficult way to live, but a compelling way to look at nonviolence. But for Jesus, it's not just nonviolence, because this is followed up with this. You have heard it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. because God gives rain to the good and the bad. Love your enemies. That's probably Jesus's hardest statement to live. But you see, that's what you're really doing by not responding to violence with more violence. You're saying, no, violence doesn't control me. I'm still here. The same with the other things. If you really did care about the person who's striking you, who's stealing from you, who's impressing you into service, then I think this is the way to respond, to say, I'm still here. I still love you. So it's a strange sort of way, eh? Now, the Beatitudes, you're going to read these, and James Martin does a good job. I want to give you just something even a little different. Look at these in Jesus' day, because it said everyone was following him and they were all listening to this. So put it in context. In Jesus' day, they were occupied by the Romans, and people resisted the Romans, and they did it in different ways. There were different factions. One way was armed resistance. Fight them with everything that we got. There were Zealot Party and other armed groups. That's what happened at Masada eventually. But then there were groups who said, let's make an accommodation and understand, and we'll follow you in political things, but in religious things we need a certain amount. Well, that's what the high priests and the Sadducees did. Accommodation in things that you can, so that you can get some freedom in other areas. Or separation. Let's just pull away from society, move out of the city into the desert, so we can live by ourselves. Leave us alone. There were communities who did that, like the Qumran community. But to these, Jesus offers some Beatitudes. First, for those who would do armed resistance, he says, it's the meek that will inherit the earth. You can't fight and win it. The meek are those who have no power and know it. The anawim, the powerless. Blessed are they, because it's the powerless who God will give to the earth. For those who would accommodate, he says, it's the pure in heart who will see God. Not making accommodations with the Romans, watering things down, a little of this, a little of that. No, you need to have integrity and stand for what you believe in, the pure of heart. Now, for those who would separate themselves, the Qumran community called themselves the poor in spirit. Only God is what that means. Only God can do these things. We are poor in spirit. But Jesus also says, blessed are the peacemakers. They will be called the children of God. The peacemakers have to live with people in order to find a way for all of us to get along. You can't separate yourself out and be a peacemaker. So, he says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Yeah, because only God can save. But blessed are those who mourn. We should all be mourning. Look at what's happening. Look at the way the people are living. And Jesus mourns over Jerusalem. And you all should mourn. It's the right response to what's happening. And if you thirst and you want, what you should want is righteousness, right relationship among all people and among people and God. Right relationship. Thirst for that. And blessed are the peacemakers, to live among others, finding a way to bring us all together. And lastly, blessed are you when people revile you. The rest is about blessed are them. You. if you people listening to me today are hated because you're listening to me, blessed are you, because they'll hate me as well. Now, Jesus was talking about the situation back then, but the situation now, it's not so different. We are divided. There are factions and different people wanting to say what we should do to fix things. I think the Beatitudes have a lot to say about what we should be doing. So, read the chapter in Martin, and I look forward to talking with you in the discussions.